Good morning from Robert Radford, 50 years of chess. I hope you're all well. Today we're going to deep dive back 20 years to 2006. On the 1st of April, I played an old friend of mine, D.R.Stone. Used to be a former teammate at South Bristol. He also played for Radford. Good lad, Dave. Got on well with him. And we only ever played each other this once. Played in a team with him lots of times, but never actually ever played him before. He did quite well. At one time, when the South Bristol were doing well in the top division, Dave got his rating up quite high. He's got no rating here because he hadn't played for years, but he still played quite well in this game, I thought. So anyway, here's the game between Dave and I. Hope you enjoy it. I'm white and I played knight f3 to start with. Dave played knight c6, b3, knight f6, bishop b2. And I'm going in for a Nimzo Larsen opening. d5, e6, bishop g4, bishop e2, bishop takes, e5. So Dave's trying to establish a solid centre for black, but this is a hyper-modern type opening for white, and it's the way it's played. You don't kind of strike out at the centre, except for long range with your bishops and things like that, which we're doing here. So d3, bishop b4, c3. Bishop back to d6, knight d2, castles, rook e1, rook e8, e4, because I don't want Dave pushing that pawn on in a minute, so I'm putting a stop to that now. D takes e, queen e7, queen c2, b5. This is a good move. It's to prevent knight into c4 or playing c4, which opens up the a1, h8 diagonal for my bishop. So I immediately tapped that pawn with queen d3. Dave defended it with a6, a4. I'm attacking it. He pushed on the pawn. Interesting move. If I go pawn takes pawn, you're obviously going to play knight takes. So I played knight into c4 instead to hit his bishop. I'd like to get that bishop off and weaken that centre if I could. Now he's played the rook behind the bishop on d8. Now normally white would move his queen out of the way here because of the veiled threat of the rook, but I do want that bishop, so I took it off first. Now he takes with the rook, queen into c4. So we're putting some pressure on this b pawn. And again, he's pushed his pawn onto a5. Pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn. So he's got a nice outpost for that knight. And I have to challenge his position. But first of all, we're going to attack that c pawn. So Dave defends it with rook c6, which is correct. Queen b5, rook takes rook, c6, and queen back to c4. So now I've created a weakness on his queen side. I've got the better pawn structure, two structures. On the queen side, I have the A and B pawns. They're connected. And on the king side, I've got my pawns all together. They will be connected when the bishop finally moves out of the way, whenever that is. But he's got three islands of pawns, and I have two. So he's played h6, so that's his pawn move, so that his king can always come off the back rank, not get mated. Bishop back to e2. rook d8, good move. h3, rook d7. Now, bishop a3, pinning the knight to the queen. This is going to make it a bit more difficult for Dave now, but he's found a move. We're attacking my queen. So I offered a queen swap to hit his two weak pawns on a5 and e5. Queen takes 6, rook takes. Yes, so Dave's gone a pawn up at this stage, and how we see it is Stockfish gives me a +2, because though he's gone a pawn up, it's just an illusion. He's not really. I've got a better position because he's got this weak a pawn, which you can't stop me getting back anyway. Now Stockfish suggests king to f1 to protect bishop, but I chose to play bishop takes knight because that's a really good knight on that outpost, and now I've gone bishop into c4, so I've shored up my defense of my queen side. I'm going to win my pawn back on a5, and we'll be even on pawns, but he's got more weaknesses than I have. So he went knight back to d7 to protect the e pawn, because he knows he can't protect all of them. So what one should I take? Well, I believed it was the a pawn I should take to give me a passed pawn of my own on that side first, which I believe is correct. Knight to b6, attacking that bishop, which is annoying because it was all nicely shored up there, so I've had to go back to protect it. Knight takes, pawn takes. I could have gone bishop takes, but then he would have taken b3. So I took with the b pawn on c4. He's taken the a pawn, and I've taken the c pawn, giving me my c pawn passed. So 4 pawns each. I've got a clear pass pawn. He played f6 to shore up the e5 pawn, keep it protected, and I've gone rook to c7 to stop his king from coming off the back rank. He's played g6, king f1, f5, e2, king e2, and rook a3. So he's stopping me from going forward as well. So what are we going to do with this game? Stockfish shows us it being even, 0-0 even at the moment, but I do find I've got to push this past pawn. So I've gone on to c5, king f8, king d2, and he's pushed his e pawn on, which is all he can do really. He has to do this, but his king cannot leave those pawns. He's pushed them forward and they're easily exposed to my rook. Mine are not so exposed, because even if he played rook a2 check, I can just go king to e3 and I'd be doing quite well. So c6, Stockfish still showing us evens. f4. That's a big mistake, because now he's 4.6 plus with that move. Why is it so bad? Well, partly because I can just play my rook across now, which I did, to h7, and he's not going to stop me queening, because if he tried to get back to stop the pawn, I could push it on again, and then if he goes on the back rank to stop the pawn, I could push it on again, and if the rook takes, I got rook check and can pick up the rook. Or he can play king G8, which would take him away from the pawn, so that would be okay. So, rook A6. There we go. Pawn to C7 now. And at this stage, Dave played rook C6, and then he realised, he resigned. Because he realised that I can just push the pawn, and if he takes, I win the rook with check on C8. So, thank you for watching this game. I hope you're enjoying it. It's interesting. I thought Dave played quite well, considering he hasn't played for a long time, which shows what a good player he was years ago. He took me all the way in this game, and he was always a little bit higher rated and regarded as a slightly stronger player than myself back then. So I give Dave all the respect that's due to him. Fortunately, I don't think he played on afterwards. It was just a one-off game. He was playing for his company, Sun Life Insurance. At the time, he was in Bristol, but it was great to play him. I haven't seen him since, but I wish him all the best if he ever gets to see this video. Thanks a lot, Dave. You're a good pal. And see you around, hopefully. Cheers, everybody. Hope you're enjoying it. And thank you to all my subscribers. And I'll keep coming with the videos as long as I can find them. Thank you. Cheers.